Hello, everyone. Welcome to our newest webinar. I'm Anka. I'm the Customer Success Specialist here at SocialBee, and today I am joined by Clemmy. I will let her introduce herself soon. Hi, Clemmy. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. How are you?
Excited for this webinar. While
Really
people
excited.
while people are joining, I just wanted to chit chat a little and start with a question first. So if you're already live with us, let us know if you're already using animated video in your strategy, or what's keeping you from using animated video if you're not already doing so. And in the meantime, Clemmy, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself and about everything that you do.
Cool, sounds good. So yeah, hi everyone, I'm Clemmy and I am the social media and content exec at VideoScribe. So I am based in the UK, as I'm sure you can probably tell. And I've worked in social media for just over 3 years now. So a bit about VideoScribe if you're not familiar with the software. So we are a software that anyone can use to create animated videos. So it doesn't matter if you're a professional or an amateur, VideoScribe is suitable for you. So it's best known for its whiteboard animation style, but you can also use it to create 2D animations and mixed media animations. So it is a really versatile tool. And yeah, if you have any questions about VideoScribe during the webinar, if you just put them in the chat and I will answer them at the end.
Awesome. Thanks so much for introducing us. I can already see that 2 of our users are already using VideoScribe. So that's amazing
Nice.
to hear. And then Bryant is saying that they occasionally use animated video, but we find it hard to balance it with other content. So hopefully we will be able to give you more ideas on how you can do that throughout this webinar. Before we begin, I'd like to go over a few things that typically come up during our webinars. So first of all, yes, this session is recorded and you will be receiving a link to the recording as soon as possible through the email that you signed up with. And then another thing that you should know is that my colleague Roxana will be in the chat there with you. She's the one who's going to pick up any questions that you might have. So if you have any questions, type out the word question in all caps in the beginning of your question so that Roxana can easily see them and pass them over to us so that we can answer them at the end of our webinar. Cool. So I feel like we're ready to start. Some people have already joined, so how about we get this ball rolling?
Yeah, let's go.
Awesome. I'll share my screen so that it's easier for all of us. Let me set this up. I should have done this beforehand. Let's see. Sorry, technical difficulties. My computer is freezing.
Oh no.
I am gonna share it now. Hopefully this works. Let's see. I think there's a bit of a lag. Okay, now. Yes? No? Can you see my screen?
I can see it.
Perfect. So, as we've established, today we're going to talk about how you can use the power of animated videos through social media. And we're going to do so in a very interesting way. First of all, again, if you haven't met me yet, I'm Anka. I'm a customer success specialist here at SocialBee. If you don't know SocialBee, we're a social media management tool that empowers businesses and entrepreneurs to stay consistent on social media. And together with me, Clemmy from VideoScribe, who is a content marketing executive for VideoScribe. And as I said, today we are going to talk about animated videos, but in the end, we're going to have an awesome surprise for you, so stick with us until the end there. Before we begin, I have prepared a few statistics here because I'm sure not all of you know about the fact that 85% of social media users want more videos from brands or any of the other ones. Like for me, one of the most shocking ones was the one from VideoScribe, actually. 92% of marketers agree that video should be a core part of every marketing strategy. And typically, if it's 50% or more, you should know that you have it integrated. But 92%, that's a lot. Awesome. So today, you will learn about how easy it is to create video content, tips on scheduling your content, and strategies on how to make a video marketing work for you. And at the end, as I said, we are going to have a Q&A session. So if you're in with us for the ride, I'll have Clemmy start with talking about how easy it is to create video content.
Okay, cool. So yeah, if we go to the first slide, please.
Yes.
Cool. So I thought I would start off before we get into the ins and outs of using VideoScribe. I thought it'd be a good idea to touch on why you should be using video for your social media platforms. So obviously Anka did just go through a couple of stats, but I do have 3 more stats here that I thought were good to share. So for Twitter, so tweets with a video will see 10 times more engagement than those without. On LinkedIn, so users are 20 times more likely to share a video than any other type of post. And on Instagram, video generates more engagement than any other content type. And obviously today we are going to be looking at mostly animated videos. So you may be wondering why animated videos in particular. So animated videos are really a great way to resonate more with your audience. They're also a great way to inject some fun into your social channels. So you don't want to be too corporate on your social media. So animation is a really great way to show off your brand's personality. It's also a really great tool to break down and explain complex topics more easily. So if you have maybe more of a complicated product or service, animation can help explain that more clearly to your audience and help it resonate a bit more with them. So if we go to the next slide. So before we get into using VideoScribe, I thought I would just touch on the 3 options for creating video content. And these are the options I use. So I don't always use VideoScribe for my social channels. So for example, option 1 is natively recording a video in the app itself. And this is the best option for platforms like TikTok, for example. So we started a TikTok channel, I think it was about a month ago now, and we are mainly recording natively in the app itself. The reason for this, if I guess you're not that familiar with TikTok, is that you'll quite often have a soundbite or audio file, and you'll want your video to match that soundbite. So if you're recording in the app, you can have a soundbite playing in the background and make sure that your video is matching the audio. So option 2 is another one that I do quite often. So if I have a pre-filmed video that I need to edit, I will always use Premiere Pro as my tool for that. And quite often on our social channels, if you do follow VideoScribe, you will see me posting quite a few tutorials, screen recording tutorials. And for that, I always use Camtasia. So Camtasia is really great because you can record your screen in Camtasia and you can also edit in Camtasia, add transitions and things like that. So that's another option if you do want like a screen recording video or you speaking. Those are the tools I'd recommend for those types of videos. And option 3 is obviously animated videos, which we are going to dive into now. And for that, you will be wanting to use VideoScribe. So if we head to the next slide. Okay, cool. So before we do get started, we do actually have 2 versions of VideoScribe available. I know a couple of you in the chat have said that you use VideoScribe, so you may be using the other version for the one I'm going to show today. So the one I'm going to show today is VideoScribe for your browser. And the reason for that is because, in my opinion, it is the best option for social media marketers, and you'll see why in a second. The other version that we have is VideoScribe for your desktop, which does have differences, and we do have a blog which explains both versions, which I am happy to link to. If anyone wants to email me, I can send them the link. They're both great in their own right, but for this, we're going to focus on the browser version. So when you open VideoScribe for your browser, you'll see the left-hand screen here, and this is our template library. So we honestly have hundreds of templates available in the library. So whatever your project is, your industry, your audience, you will definitely find a template to match that. So our templates are also fully customizable. So you can edit the colors to match your branding. You can edit the font, you can edit the copy. You can upload your own images. You can change the animation style. So you can make it completely unique. So you don't need to worry about having the same video as hundreds of other people, because you can customize your template and make it completely unique to your business. But if you are feeling a bit more confident, you may want to just get started with a blank canvas. So to do this, you will click the Create New Project button at the top left, and you will have the three options here presented to you on the right. So this is why I say that the browser version is much better for social media, because one size does not fit all for social media. So for example, for YouTube, you're going to want to be uploading landscape videos. For LinkedIn, you're going to be wanting to upload style videos. And for Instagram, you will want a vertical canvas. So these canvas sizes are really great. I find it really helpful because I know whatever platform I'm creating content for, I can just select that canvas size and I'm good to go. So it's super handy to have those canvas sizes available. So with the VideoScribe for your desktop, the other version that we have, you can only create landscape videos. So that is fine if you're posting mostly to platforms like YouTube. But if you do want to upload videos to Instagram, you will be wanting a vertical canvas. So you will really want to be using our browser version. So if we head to the next slide. So once you have selected your canvas, it's then time to add all your elements and your text and just form your video. So we have a really big image library. I believe we have over 11,000 images in the library. So there are tons of different categories. We have education themed images, we have business themed images, we have tons of different characters. You can customize all of these images as well. So you can change the colors and things like that. And our images are all hand drawn in-house by our designers. So they're all unique images, which is great. And you can also add text as well. So we have tons of different fonts available. But if we don't have your brand font, you can actually upload your own font into VideoScribe. Same with images as well. So you can upload your own illustrations or your own photographs and they will animate. So that's a really useful little thing as well. And if you want to add a bit more depth or a bit more dimension to your videos, you'll probably want to add a voiceover or audio. So you can record these directly in VideoScribe, or you can record them in a third party and import these files into VideoScribe and add them to your video. So once we have that all together, if we head to the next slide. So then it's time to animate your video, which is the fun part. So first, you'll want to decide if you want your element to come onto the screen with an animation. And on the left-hand side, you can see the options. So our most well-known one is probably hand draw. So that's sort of like a whiteboard style. But you could also have elements fading in or moving in, and you can choose where they move in from as well. I quite like when I create videos to mix and match my animation styles. So some elements I will have hand draw, and there's some elements I might just have move in, and I think that adds a nice dimension to the video. So if you do select the hand draw option, you'll see the middle screen, and you can select which hand you want to draw. So we have lots of different ethnicities and ages and genders available for your hands, and we also have left and right-handed options. So this is really great, to make sure that you are resonating with your audience, whatever audience type that is. And you can also select your pen. So depending on the illustration style that you're choosing, you may want to choose a paintbrush, you may want chalk, you may want a Sharpie or a pencil. So that's really great as well, just to tie everything together. And another type of animation is exit animation. So on the right are the options for this. So you may want your element to come onto the screen and stay on the screen, and therefore you'd select none for that. But if you do want the element to come on the screen briefly and then leave again, you can choose how you want it to exit. So you could have it fade out, you could have it move out, you could have it disappear, all those options there. So that's really great too. And another type of animation that you can choose, which I don't have an image of, is emphasis animation. So this is sort of, as the name says, it's a way to emphasize certain elements. So you may have some text that you want to pop out your screen at your audience, and you can emphasize it using the emphasis animation options. So now we've done that, we'll be ready to export our video. So we actually added a new feature this week, about 2 days ago, which is a really great feature, and it's actually where you can send a preview link to someone. So for example, if you're creating a video for a client, or you're creating a video for your business and your manager needs to approve it, before we had this new feature, you had to download your video and send it to them. But now you can actually, if you look at the right hand side, you would click create preview link, and it will generate a unique link. You can copy that link and send it to whoever you want to view your video. They don't need to be a subscriber at VideoScribe or logged in or anything, so anyone can view this link, which is really handy. But yeah, so when you're happy with a video and you're ready for it to be downloaded, you have two options for downloading. So you can download as an MP4 file or as a GIF file. And for social media, I would always recommend downloading as an MP4. I don't believe you can upload GIFs to many, if any, actually, social channels. So always download as an MP4 for social media. But GIFs, well, the GIF option is great for things like blogs and your website. So I write a lot of our blog articles, and if I want to add a GIF, I find this a really useful tool. I used to have to download an MP4, then convert it in a third party into a GIF and upload it, but now you can just download it directly as a GIF, so it's so much easier. And that is a brief overview of how I use VideoScribe to create social content. So I have 2 more slides to go through. So I thought I would just touch on how to find what's trending. And this varies depending on the platform that you're creating content for. So for example, for TikTok, if you're not familiar, you have a For You page or your homepage. And when you're scrolling through there, it's not going to be people that you necessarily follow. It's going to be trending sounds, trending videos. And if you're scrolling through and you see sort of sounds that are relevant to your business that are trending, it's a great time to hop on those sounds, as you'll likely get a lot of engagement from that. So Instagram and Facebook are similar now. So you have your Reels tab and you have your Watch tab. And that's really similar to TikTok. So it's not necessarily people that you follow, it's just trending content. So if you are coming across trend sounds or sound bites that you can make relevant to your business, that's a really great time to hop on those trends and create content around that. And Twitter and LinkedIn, so that's slightly different, slightly more serious, I guess. So Twitter, you have your trending hashtags. So if there's a trending hashtag that's relevant to your business, that's a great time to tweet with that hashtag, as it's likely going to be searched and viewed quite a lot. And LinkedIn as well, you have your top news stories. So if there was a news story that happened to be relevant to your industry or your brand, that's a good time to voice your opinion on that story. And the last little 2 tips as well are really useful. So it's quite important if you are on social media to read social media and marketing blogs regularly. Absolutely. I've listed a couple. Yeah, I've listed a couple there. But there's so many, and I'd say just do some research and find ones that you like. But I would recommend sort of checking in on those like once a week at least, just to stay update with sort of social media updates, trending things, stuff like that. And the last little thing I really like to do is follow social media agencies on LinkedIn. There's probably tons in your area or not in your area, but I find quite often agencies will share client success stories and tips and tricks. So I find that really handy just to figure out what's trending, what is working for them, what's not working. And I'm happy as well to give anyone a list via email if you are wanting to know who I follow on LinkedIn.
SocialBee also has a blog with tips and tricks, by the
way. Okay, and I think my last slide is next. Yeah, so similar to what's trending, but where to find inspiration. So by looking at what's trending, that may be enough to fill your content calendars. But if it's not, there are a few other ways that you can find inspiration. So one thing that I think is really important is to regularly monitor your competitors' social channels. So you don't have to follow your competitors if you don't want to do that, but it's really important to just monitor what they're posting, what sort of content they're putting out. You basically want to make your content better than theirs and your social media sort of more appealing than theirs. So that's quite important really to monitor theirs. You probably want to check in at least once a week and just see, where
What's
you can
going
find inspiration there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And another great source of inspiration is your customers. So you can survey your customers, find out what content they want to see. Obviously, they're the people that you're creating the content for, so you want them to like your content and find it useful. Another thing I like to do is look at the month ahead of me and find out what sort of national holidays and events are coming up. So there's always some sort of strange holidays, like International Cat Day, I think was this month. And there's also important holidays too. So it's a great time to connect with your audience. If there's a religious holiday coming up, you can create some content around that. Or if there's just a sort of weird or wonderful holiday, you get a bit of fun content around that. And the last little tip to find inspiration is the VideoScribe template library. So quite often I prefer to create content with a blank canvas just because I quite like to be creative, but there are obviously some days where I am lacking inspiration and I don't want to stare at a blank canvas. So I will always head to our template library and just customize a template from there, use it as a base. And that's a really great source for me to find inspiration when I'm lacking it. And I think that's the end of my slides. So I'll pass back to Anka.
So thank you so much for that awesome information. Yeah, I think we're ready to talk about what happens once you have the content for social media and how you can take it and use it to your advantage. Typically, when it comes to social media scheduling, there are about 5 aspects that you might want to consider in order to make the most out of your strategy. And from my side, we're going to talk about these 5 factors. So planning, consistency, timing, frequency, and how you can automate it to make it even easier for you to do all of the things that you have to do in a day. First and foremost, let's think about planning ahead and considering the bigger picture, because before scheduling individual posts, you have to have a scheduling strategy. You first need to take a few steps back and think about the bigger picture, right? So start by considering your marketing goals, look at your KPIs, look at what you want to achieve, and think about the content that will help you achieve what it is that you want to. This will help you create content that will boost your campaigns, that will help you promote your main activities, that will help you plan ahead for your following months and all of that. And if you put it this way, think about your social media posts as kind of like pieces of a puzzle or teammates in a team where they kind of have to work together with other things that you're doing in your marketing in order to have them be successful. So don't just think about social media as a separate thing, but rather integrate it into your whole strategy for growing and pushing your business forward. The second thing is about consistency, right? So to be consistent, it doesn't only mean posting as much as possible, but rather posting with a balance, posting with a frequency that works for you. It doesn't mean having to post once a day, even though the best practices say so. So if you don't feel comfortable with posting once a day, if you don't have that much content, if you don't feel the need for that much content, that's perfectly fine. As long as you don't post too sporadically, so that your audience forgets about you by the time you post your next post. So even if you just post once a week, make it with a frequency, with a consistent schedule in mind. So remember that each platform has a different algorithm. So as I mentioned before, best practices might suggest once per day For TikTok, it might even be more than once per day. I mean, best practices for TikTok suggest some before 3 to 6 TikToks in a day. However, find the frequency that works for you. Experiment with different amounts of posts that you want to do throughout days. Monitor the performance of them, identify the patterns that work for you, and make sure that you find the best frequency that works for you, that takes into account the best practices, but also takes into account your own preferences, your own time, because that's something that's very valuable, and mix them all together to create the perfect balance and consistency and posting. Next, think about timing. Timing is very important on social media because with these algorithms today, it's very important to be there when your audience is. So if you're thinking about publishing your content at a time that's more convenient to you, forget about it. You're supposed to use that time to schedule your content to the times when your audiences are online. And depending on the types of businesses that you have, that might not be the same time that you're online. So if we're talking a B2B business, business to business, that typically is online during a work day. However, if your audience is more the busy mom, she'll probably be more active during the evening when the kids are asleep, when everything's done, things like that. Or even if, your audience is maybe someone who's commuting, they might be scrolling through Instagram or TikTok on their way to work. So adjust your timing to when your audience is online, and just think about your perfect audience when you do that, and optimize your posting schedule by following 3 steps. Customize your schedule for your specific audience. This is something that I've just mentioned. Looking at your best practices, looking at the analytics that you have on that social media. Second, look at the general best practices. This will give you a good starting point to get going from. So as I said before, Instagram, let's say, works best at 3 p.m. or something. In that case, you can look at that and compare it to the data that you have in your specific account for your specific audience and see if that matches, if you should use that time, or if you should adjust it according to when your particular audience is online. But in the end, it's always best to test, to adjust, to repeat things on a regular basis. And we're going back to consistency with this. So test things out, but always make sure that you're doing it for long enough in order to see results on it. I'm just going to give you a second to screenshot this and learn how much you should post according to best practices for each one of the platforms that SocialBee supports, each one of the main platforms currently out there. So just to name a few, Facebook allows you to post a lot, but you should only post about, let's say, 1 to 3 times a week, or once a day. Then you can see that TikTok has ideally around 2-3 times of posting in a day, but there's no maximum to how much you should post on TikTok. TikTok, the more you post, the better it is. It's just how it is. So screenshot this. I'll just take a sip of water while you do that so that you have enough time to do so. And then we're going to move to the next slide. Here, we're going to talk about the 4-1-1 rule, which I like to call the 80-20 rule. It's the same principle. It's pretty much the principle where you need to create a content mix, a balanced way of sharing content that includes video content, that includes educational content, fun content, but also promotes your business to your audience. Just to give you an example, I've seen a lot of brands do this, especially in the beginning of their journey, where they just promote and promote and promote their own brand over and over again. And this can very easily lead to audience fatigue. And it can lead to people saying, I don't want to see this brand's posts anymore. And you don't want that. So in order to avoid that, create a mix of content that you can benefit from in the end. Because social media is about building a community, right? So why would you want to have your people leave your community? Rather, you want to keep them in. The 4-1-1 rule that you see here on the screen, or the 80-20 rule that I mentioned, gives you kind of a starting point on how you can create a balanced mix. 4-1-1 here stands for 4 entertaining or educational posts. And this can mean 3 entertaining, 1 educational, or vice versa, however you want it. 1 soft sell and 1 hard sell. The soft sell can be a testimonial, a review, something that's not very in your face. And then the hard sell is me actively promoting my services or my products so that the audience knows this is what I'm offering. On the contrary, the 80-20 rule that I have mentioned is more so in percentages, where 80% of your content provides some form of entertainment or education. This would be the 4 of the 4-1-1 rule. And then 20% of your content actively promotes your business. This would be the 2 remaining ones of the 4-1-1 rule. And last but not least, you cannot do all of this without it taking too much of your time. So that's when SocialBee comes into play. And we typically go in and help you automate your social media so that you can take a deep breath and focus on all of the other aspects of your business that require your attention. Using a social media scheduling tool like SocialBee isn't just a great way to save time and effort, but it's also a great way to make sure that you keep that consistency that I've been so adamant about, without having to worry about forgetting about it or not having the time to do it, or even not having the time to do it at the right time. Because as I mentioned, timing is critical for social media. So with SocialBee, which is an all-in-one platform, it can help bring your content creation and distribution all in one place so that you don't have to go to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, all of these platforms in order to share your content. You can do it all at once in SocialBee. And you have an array of features there that you can use. We have features that can help you customize your content for each profile. We have a category-based system, which is very useful for creating a content mix. It even helps you with understanding your content pillars so that you know what types of content you're using into your content mix. You're also able to import content from different sources. So if you create your videos in VideoScribe, you can just download them, import them in bulk in SocialBee, and work with them on the go just like that. You can use Canva for still images. You can use Giphy for GIFs that you just want to find off the internet. Or if you need royalty-free images, you also have a library of royalty-free images you can use. You have a way to create variations. So if your content repeats itself, which by the way is another feature that we have, we call it an evergreen feature. It's a way to keep your content at top of mind for your audience, even though you change it a little bit by using variations. You can schedule hundreds of posts at once. You can create your content in such a way that it looks brand new every single time it gets posted, but you haven't touched it in 3 months. So there's a lot of things that you can do with SocialBee, and I couldn't possibly fit it all into these few minutes. So I suggest booking a call with our team and figuring out how SocialBee can help you and how you can leverage SocialBee as a tool in your social media strategy. This is what it looks like, by the way. This is the schedule setup that you're seeing right here. It's pretty much where you schedule the categories. Going back to the 411 rule here, if you look at the schedule that we have, you'll notice that we do have some educational content, we do have some promotional content, and content that's just a little more lighthearted, so that we keep people in the loop with what's happening new in the industry. We offer tips and tricks, we offer some fun stuff, but then we also offer some promotion for our tool, for our services, things like that. This is just an example of what you can do. And speaking of the content mix and why I mentioned the 80-20 rule there, you also see here at the bottom right corner that we have a table with statistics that tells you exactly what percentage of your total content for that week comes from a particular category. So this way, you know for sure if you're oversharing something, if you're undersharing, you can adjust it according to your needs. This will be very, very useful on the long run. Cool. So mastering social media scheduling is one aspect that will set you up for success. And then on top of that, what influences your performance is the type of content that you post, right? We've talked about video and video animations, and right now video is king. Content might be, okay, let's say content is king, but video is the emperor. Video is where it's at right now because platforms like TikTok, like Instagram are pushing forward a lot of video that makes it thrive really on social media. And other platforms are starting to pick up on that and also start to push video more and more and more because video content appeals to the masses. It's easy to follow for the most part. It brings the most engagement to you. So just let's go through 5 simple tips that will help you use videos on social media and optimize them for best results. Cool. I have here a few examples as well. So when we think about video content, the first instinct would be to think of high production, and that's not always the case. Video content can be a quick selfie video that you just do like this. Video content can be an animation that you don't even have to show up for. Video content can be a lot of things. And it can just be like a 15-second funny video, or a live session, or something that will help you interact with your audience in real time. So make use of all the forms of video that you can find on each platform. TikTok has TikToks, it has stories. Instagram has reels, it has stories. There's all sorts of ways in which you can focus on video and not be overwhelmed by the amount of video that you have to create. Next, sorry, I don't know what happened. So I was going to say that with so much content being posted every second, and so many distractions, you can't expect your audience to stay focused on your video or on your content for too long. So keep your audience in the loop, keep your audience wanting more by keeping your videos shorter. Just look at the statistics that I have here and you'll notice that not, or at least most of them, are not long form videos. Video recommendations are within the second margin, not minutes, not hours. Mostly longer form videos work best for YouTube, but for social media, stick to seconds. And then there are 2 main reasons why your social media videos should have captions. If you're not including captions in your social media videos, you should, because it's inclusive to your audience that might not have any hearing, that might have a hearing impairment. or it will also allow people who can't really listen at that time to know what the video is about without having the volume all the way up. Some of us forget our headphones at home while they're commuting, so it's not always pleasant to blast the audio on the bus. In that case, you might want to look at videos with captions only. Statistics actually show that around 69% of people actually view the videos without sound. And if you think about it, I think you might be doing so as well. So keep that in mind when creating your videos, and always, or as much as possible, if not always, try to use captions in your videos. Optimize your videos for mobile devices. This is something that Clemmy also mentioned, with the fact that you should have a landscape video for YouTube, but a vertical video for Instagram, for TikTok. This is something that's very important. If people can't easily watch your video and they have to switch their phones into a different direction to do so, they will just skip the video entirely. So be mindful of that and make sure that your videos are optimized for social media. Adjust them to just look good, whether it's on a small phone, on a screen, that the captions are well placed so that you have the optimal screen performance in there. And just to give you a little tip, for Instagram, it usually is 16:9. That works for TikTok as well. And as Clemmy said, for LinkedIn, it's best to use square videos, which is 1:1, so that's not a big deal. Just make sure that the text and the captions that you add don't take away from the video, but rather add, by keeping them small and in places that make them visible without covering or disrupting the video. Set up an engaging thumbnail. This is becoming less and less important on Instagram, but more and more important on TikTok. And it's a very interesting thing to see. Instagram is starting to see a trend with raw thumbnails, where you just grab a caption, a still from the actual reel, for instance. However, on TikTok, you work best with getting something that's a little more aesthetically pleasing right now. And typically, this is something that works on most platforms. Most platforms allow you to upload a thumbnail. So if you have that option, use it wisely. And even if you're just using a capture from your current video, make sure you add a text to it to let your audience know what it's about. Now, I'm just going to quickly go over a few tips on how you can repurpose social media content, because, video content comes in a lot of ways. And if you have something like long form video, you can crop it and cut it and create into a lot more social media videos. So think about how you can make your video last when you're creating your video. If you're mentioning times, if you're mentioning seasons or dates in your video, it's going to get outdated very, very soon. So do that as little as possible. Keep your content evergreen when it comes to video, so that you can reshare it in 2 weeks' time, in 3 months' time, in a year's time, and so on and so forth. This type of content will save you a lot of time, and it will act as a safety net whenever you don't have time or ideas on what to post next. I just came up with, well, I didn't come up with them, I just researched a few examples of how you can do so with future videos. So you can see here with podcasts, for instance, and webinars, you can repurpose them into social media posts very easily. They offer high informational value, and they typically are long form content that can be turned into dozens of posts on social media. Each important sentence in a webinar can easily become a TikTok, a reel. You can take snippets and turn them into nuggets of wisdom, if you will. Just ensure that you record your webinars, that you have a video, a visual, if you're running a podcast, or if you don't have a visual, that you animate your videos so that it's not just a still image with some audio that can be a little boring to the eye. Next, don't forget to add catchy caption, and you're good to go. Recycle your live sessions. So if you're going live on Instagram, this is the one example that I have here. If you're going live on Instagram, if you're going live on TikTok, that typically you are able to save, and you can then download it, get it into little snippets again, and use it in social media posts along the line. If you decide to invest in ads, you can also use little snippets of your video or animations or whatever you need to also give more life and more depth to your ads, so that they provide with more or better performing ads, right? More results. That's what I wanted to say. Awesome. So that is it from me. We're going to go into the Q&A section really quickly. Before I do that, though, let me just stop sharing my screen so that I can actually go into the chat and see that everything's okay here. And as you saw quickly on my screen, we do have two offers for you, not one, but two. One for SocialBee and one for VideoScribe. So if you want to try one or the other, you can get 50% off on SocialBee for 3 months and 25% off VideoScribe plans with the codes that you'll see in the chat going there. And I'm just giving you a last shout out. If you haven't added your question yet and you want to do so, go ahead and do that in the chat so that we can answer that. I'll drink a little bit of water because I've been talking quite a lot. Awesome. Should we go into the questions then?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Let's see. So let's start with a few questions for Clemmy, right? How often should one post video content for the best effect? No, actually, that's for me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I mixed them up. Sorry. For SocialBee, I'll address them a little bit later. Let me address one that's actually meant for me. If I use the browser solution, what happens if I get disconnected?
So your video should automatically save. So I've had it where I've accidentally like crossed off the tab, and when I've gone back, my video has been the same as it has been. So it should automatically save. But obviously, if you have got maybe dodgy Wi-Fi, or you've been working really hard on a video, I would recommend just consistently saving throughout the creation process. Obviously, you don't want to do work and then lose your Wi-Fi and your video's gone. So definitely just consistently save like every 10 minutes or so. But yeah, it should auto save even if you lose connection. So you should be good there.
That's reassuring to know.
Yeah.
So do you offer a free trial of VideoScribe?
Yes, so we have a 7-day free trial, and well, we have the two versions. You can try them out on the free trials. It's pretty a good way to figure out which version is best for you by doing the free trial. And if you just go to our website, you'll see videoscribe.co. You'll easily see our free trial button if you want to try it out.
And speaking of, so once I've done the free trial, I want to know, how much am I going to pay for a VideoScribe subscription?
So I think it does vary a bit depending on where you're based, but you can choose basically between a monthly plan or an annual plan. So an annual plan works out cheaper per month, but then a monthly plan you can cancel at any time. So it depends sort of what works best for you. So I'm not sure of the exchange rate, but in the UK, a monthly plan is £33 a month, and an annual plan is £145, but per month that is £12. So a lot cheaper to go for the annual plan if you want to do that. And we also have team plans, so we do offer discounted team subscriptions. But for that, you would need to contact our sales team.
And you mentioned having a lot of templates in your library. Are any of them for TikTok?
So we are currently expanding our template library, and recently in the last month or so, added a lot of Instagram Reel templates.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously with Reel templates, you can also use them on TikTok. So yeah, we don't currently have one specifically designed for TikTok, but it's definitely something that's going to come soon.
Awesome. Fun to hear that. Last question that I have here for you, Clemmy, right now. Can I change the colors of the illustrations in the library?
Yes, you can. So if you have particular brand colors, you can change pretty much all the illustrations in the library. Some of them you can't, but most you can. Probably 95% you can.
Mm-hmm.
So you can change them to match your branding if that is necessary for your project.
Awesome. That's perfect to hear. I'll now address the question that I so funnily mixed up. So, how often should one post one post video content? Oh, how often should one post video content for the best effect? Well, video is one of the biggest things right now, so I would say at least once a week if you can't do it more than that. If it comes easier to you to create video content, you can go ahead and do it more often, but at least once a week should be the goal in order to have a consistent schedule and um, to have it no to reap the benefits that video is creating right now, because video can boost your engagement, it can boost your reach, especially on Instagram. This is known to work. So if you can post even one reel per week, that would be great. It would do wonders for you. The next question that I have in here is, how should I choose the top 3 platforms to focus on? That's a good question to look at in the beginning of your strategy. So before you're even considering on what types of content you're sharing to social media, think of who your target audience is and how you can reach them best. If your target audience is young people, millennials, Gen Z especially, then definitely you should be on TikTok, you should be on Instagram. If you have more mature audience, professional audience, maybe on LinkedIn, more of a mature audience on Facebook and things like that. So think of who your audience is and then think, where do these people spend most of their time? That's how you find the top 3 platforms to focus on. The next question that I have here is, if I'm a coach, what social platform should I focus on first? I think this ties into the previous question. Look at what are you coaching? Because it definitely depends on that. Because if you're coaching for fitness, you could easily work with TikTok, with Instagram. If you're coaching for business, LinkedIn might be a better fit, and things like that. So it really depends on what you're coaching and what your industry is in the end, along with who your target audience is. Another question that I have here that's a very good question is, how can I find the best hashtags for my profiles? Well, there's a lot of research involved in hashtags, and they can change from here and there. But typically, you can use hashtag generators that look at what performs, as well as your image, your text. And there's such a tool in SocialBee as well. So if you don't know how to generate your hashtags, we can do it for you based on your text, based on your image. And that way you can find the best performing hashtags. But if you'd prefer doing it manually, you can look on Instagram, you can look on TikTok, and actively see what people are using, and how many. Most of these platforms tell you just how many people are using a specific hashtag. The best hashtags for you might not be the most viewed or the most used hashtags. If you have a hashtag with 1 million views, chances are, if you have 2,000 followers, no one will see it. So stick within the, let's say, few tens of thousands posts within that hashtag if you have 2,000 followers. If you have 300,000 followers, then you might get away with using bigger hashtags. So it depends a lot on your account size. It depends a lot on what's trending. Also, be on the lookout for any banned hashtags. I know there's several links on the internet that you can find a list of banned hashtags on Instagram, which don't help you in any way. Pretty much Instagram does not show those hashtags anymore, so you're wasting caption space by using those hashtags. Next question, does SocialBee support posting videos on social? Yes, we do. You can upload MOV and MP4 videos to all major platforms that support that. If we're talking TikTok and Instagram, absolutely, you can post TikToks, you can post Reels directly from SocialBee to your account by just connecting your account and scheduling the content as you normally would. And the last question that I have here, and then I'll head over to the chat and see if there are any more questions there. Is VideoScribe available in SocialBee? Unfortunately, at the moment, no. Hopefully in the future, though. In the meantime, what you can do is you can either grab the link or download the video and import it into SocialBee, and that way you can create your posts for your social media. Awesome. Let's see if there's any questions left here. I don't see any, so I guess that marks the end of our webinar. Thank you so much, Clemmy, for joining us today. It was so much fun hanging out with you. And thank you all. Thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to take advantage of the offers that I've mentioned. And if you have any questions whatsoever, you can always reach out either to SocialBee or to VideoScribe, and I'm sure you will get answers at any point. I think that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.